Hi, everybody. This is Drew Tomlin with the Association for Middle Level Education, and I am joined today by Shauna King. And Shauna is a former middle school teacher who now serves as an educational consultant, adjunct professor for LaSalle University, certified presenter for the Upside Down organization, and doing some really fabulous work with the University of Maryland Positive School Center. And not only all of that, but she's also the outstanding author of this article that you're checking out at AMLE magazine entitled "What We Say Matters, Invest in Daily Positive Talk for Lasting Return." So thank you, Shauna, for taking some time to talk a little bit more about this.
Oh, you're welcome, Drew. Thanks for having me here today.
Well, terrific, terrific. So we're going to get right into it with this positive talk concept. Why do you think teachers of young adolescents need to be especially careful with their words? Why is this so critical in the middle level?
Well, I think about with babies, adults are always, oh, you're so wonderful, you're so cute. I mean, we are always giving this positive talk from the time they get to us. But something seems to happen as they get older and we kind of lessen that. But I remember, middle school is a really tough time for a lot of kids and, some insecurities, just not sure about what's going on. And so I think especially at this time more than any others, we really need to be careful about our words because kids remember what we say. Sometimes we don't think about it, but kids really do remember what we say. So we want to make sure that we're careful during this critical time of adolescence.
Absolutely, yeah, they definitely remember and we have a lasting impression on them. That's for sure. So in your article, you shine a light on the potential harm of rhetorical questions, and obviously, and thank you for offering those better phrases that we can use. Great solutions. What makes phrases like, quote, "Is there a reason why you're behaving this way," more effective than some of the more harmful phrases that you've heard and used?
If I can be honest with you, Drew, this is something that I've come to learn because phrases like is there something I can help you with is much more reflective. So in the classroom, statements like, "What are you doing? How many times do I have to tell you to do this? Are you listening to me?" And my favorite was, "Why are you still talking?" And these are statements that are rhetorical in nature that we really don't want an answer to, but it kind of sets the middle schooler up. And we want to avoid that. So think about what you want the child to do. And you want them to be reflective about their behavior, about their actions. And rhetorical questions are just kind of out there in the sky. And often you get this caught in headlights kind of response from kids, like, "I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say." So I think reflective questions. Is there something I can help you with? Do you need help understanding what the concept is? So go ahead and ask them a question, not one that's rhetorical that doesn't even really have an answer, but something that kind of directs reflection and insight so that they can begin to think about whatever it is they're doing or what you want them to do. I think is really much better.
Right. So clearly, like you said, and I think that you may have been spying on a former classroom that I was in charge of when with some of those other phrases.
Mine too.
It's all about the journey, right? It's all about the learning, but using those phrases that help kids get in a reflective and purposeful mode, I think is, like you said, it's so much better and more constructive. So thank you for those solutions. So, all right, so we've worked on ourselves, we've worked on our own classroom and the rhetorical or the phrases that we should use. So here's the tough question though. What should we do when we hear other teachers in our building use language that's harmful? How do we get all staff members on board with positive talk without causing a tense or confrontational situation ourselves?
And that's a tricky question I've gotten a couple of times, Drew, because even when we get it, maybe the teacher in the next classroom or sometimes down the hallway or things like that, we hear something that kind of makes us say, "Ooh, that's not the best way to respond to that." I think being able to collaborate the same way we do with instruction, the same way we do with other things, being able to bring to the table during our planning things to say, what are some strategies that we're using to motivate our students? And then bringing up, I'm finding in the hallway or in the classroom, some of the things I'm using like positive talk, which is a strategy. It is an intervention to be able to support academics, support behavior, motivation. Put that on the table. Have a conversation about it. Some of the schools I work with, we create accountability partners.
Oh,
So there's
nice.
someone who you have a relationship with. So it's not the administrator or your team leader who's coming to you saying, watch your tone. It's someone you have a relationship with and saying, what's going on with that kid? I see that kid kind of pushing your button sometimes. I've tried this when I wanted him to do this, and it responded this way. So I think being able to have those crucial conversations that we talk about, but still having it in a planning type of way, a collaborative type of way to say, this is a strategy, just like with instruction, that I think can be used to motivate our students.
Right, right. And when you think about, like you said, common planning time, interdisciplinary planning time, that's a time to not only talk about curricular connections, but the strategy of positive talk. How are we doing that across the team and across the grade level? I think that's a really good suggestion. And even maybe a focus for a peer observation opportunity too. Go into somebody's classroom and see how they use positive talk. That's a great stuff there.
Absolutely. And if I could also say, Drew, we also need to model it with adults. You know, whether we're a principal, team leader, how are we talking to the adults in the building? Because it's kind of difficult to ask the adults to do something if it's not also modeled for them. So what are those things that administrators are saying to teachers in the hallways and teachers in the hallways to all the adults? And I think it's easy to model when we see it and we feel how it makes us feel and respond.
Absolutely. So that positive talk affects the whole climate and culture of the school. And yeah, gosh, that's good stuff. And obviously you've mentioned stakeholders that are, within the building, teachers, administrators, and students, and how everyone needs to experience and work on positive talk. So what about families? Those critical stakeholders there. How do we get families involved and informed so they also use positive talk with their own students and children on the home front?
That's also so important. So as a mom, I have an 8-year-old, and a 10-year-old, so teacher and then mom. I can respect when I have a teacher of one of my children who makes the extra effort to send a note home that's saying something positive. I can remember my son's teacher last year. He wrote a note that said, I'm so excited to have Matthew in my class. Can you tell me something wonderful about him? And that was just so different. I hadn't experienced that before, and I thought that was wonderful to start things off on a positive tone. So since this is around the beginning of the school year, what are we doing to model for parents? What are some of the things that we're doing in classrooms? And then when we make those positive phone calls home, because we know it shouldn't just be the negative phone calls home.
Right.
It's got to be some positive phone calls home. Let them know what's working. When I say to Shauna in class, Shauna, it's great to see you on class. It's great to see you have all your materials today. She seems to really perk up. If you see those same types of things at home, how is that working? Kind of make some subtle suggestions for parents to see how their children are responding. I know even as a parent, I love when a teacher tells me, you know what, your child's doing great when I do this. I'm like, hey, I'll try that at home too. And I think families will be on board with that.
Exactly. And not that we want to step on parents' toes and tell them exactly how to talk to their kids and stuff like that. But, I have a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old at home, and there are some times where it's like, gosh, what words should I say when I'm feeling frustrated by his decision-making or lack thereof? How do I use positive talk instead of what I sometimes hear in my head wanting to say,
Exactly. Exactly. It's a struggle for all of us. It's a struggle for all of us.
It certainly is. All right. So this probably won't be a struggle for you. This next question, it's a metaphorical one, and you are definitely an advanced learner, so I don't think this is going to be a problem for you, Shauna.
Okay, thank you.
So, here you go. Are you ready for this metaphorical
journey? Hold on.
Okay. So if positive talk was a food for middle level education, what kind of food would it be and why?
Wow. Okay. Chocolate.
All right.
Chocolate. Let me tell you why real quick. Besides the fact that I love chocolate, and most people love chocolate. Chocolate can come in a form. It can come in a large bar, so you can give a lot of positive talk, or you can sprinkle it throughout your instruction, throughout the day. Chocolate sprinkles, and it can make a. If you ever have a bowl of vanilla ice cream and you put chocolate sprinkles on there, It does wonders to it, just like positive talk. There you go.
Oh my gosh. That's right. So taking the plain ice cream of your classroom world and putting some positive talk chocolate sprinkles on it. Wow.
And
Yeah,
maybe
you knocked it out of the park, Shauna.
maybe it needs to be dark chocolate for the nutritional benefits. I don't want my nutrition like no junk food. Let's do dark chocolate.
There, dark chocolate, those antioxidants that we all need.
Absolutely.
Oh, I like it. Nicely done. Nicely done. Well, gosh, Shauna, thank you so much, not only for that sweet answer that you just gave, but for all of the wonderful answers and interview that you gave us today. Thank you so, so much.
I am so excited. Thanks so much for having me, Drew.
Awesome. And thank you for the article. And thank you once again, AMLE readers, for checking out the article and checking out this interview here at AMLE, where we help you reach every student, grow professionally, and create great schools. Thanks again, Shauna.
Thanks. Take care.